Hello, I'm joined today by Luca Pesando, who is chair of the ETSI Industry Specification Group 5th Generation Fixed Network, or F5G for short. Luca is also standards manager at Telecom Italia. Luca, hello.
Hello.
Well, perhaps we can start by looking at the progress of ISG F5G. I mean, during its first 2-year mandate, what are its main achievements and what kind of change does it bring to industry?
Well, the main results were the results that were actually scheduled and planned since the beginning, and we achieved a definition of the, let's say, the first release of our specifications through the usual process that you have in standards, where you start from use cases and move to requirements and understand the technical needs for that, for supporting with your network or whatever you are defining all those use cases, and then you prepare requirements in detail and define an architecture and etc. So we accomplished all that, and we moved into some specific views of the problem as well, like analyzing and starting to define what is needed about, for example, quality of experience for the users. We mentioned specifically quality of experience, while normally you hear people speaking of quality of service. But in this case, why experience is because video and interactive services are what mainly need to be supported with new technologies and like F5G. And that's why we focus on the quality of experience of the end user rather than simply what more in general you could call quality of service, but then different services have different requirements, and here really the user is central. Anyway, therefore we did all we have, all this document completed. We took a look as well at security, so we have a specific document setting the ground for specific security requirements and needs for the 5th generation fixed network. We have also defined a framework to be able to do some real good demonstrations, if you want to call them demonstrations, but really proof of concept that we can receive. We are accepting proposals from the members, and also we are accepting the participation of external companies, provided there are some members that are involved in those developments, so that we don't restrict arbitrarily our the chance to receive good suggestions and good demonstrations of what needs to be done, how it needs to be done, and that's a fundamental aspect. And so we have now 3 ongoing demonstrations that started back at the end of last year, and that's very good for us. So this is essentially the outcomes, the official outcomes of our work. Plus we have ongoing documents that are, on the total we have 16 documents, and 8 have been delivered, and some other are expected to be finalized very soon. We already started our second release. We are finalizing in these days document about the use cases, release 2, that enrich and expand the number of use cases that we can cover with our specifications, and will drive these new use cases. The second releases of other specifications, in particular the requirements and the architecture, will be revised and evolved into Release 2 documents. At the same time, we have the architecture, of course, will be revised as well, and we have a first release of the architecture accomplished and finalized, and we have the end-to-end management document that is being finalized. And as you might have understood, we work in releases because we believe this is the way to, let's say, build from the fundamentals up our structure of specifications and the services that they can support. This is more or less what the description of what we have done and what we are doing. We have a specific focus on, for example, on industrial applications. And as we know, verticals are one of the major interests for the fifth generation mobile networks. Well, that's the same for fixed networks. On one hand, as an original new view, so fiber reaching into the industrial site, reaching the production machines, etc. On the other hand, it is for sure also in support of what the mobile 5G can deliver. Fiber is essential as backhauling, front hauling for the mobile as well. So we are doing these two different roles in our work.
Okay, well, thanks for that. And maybe you've touched on it already, but let's just clarify. I mean, ETSI has also proposed F5G Advanced as the evolution of F5G. What are the main focus areas of F5G Advanced?
Well, again, progress in all what I already touched upon, in the sense of enhancing the capability of the fixed network to benefit of for example, of cloud services, benefiting of the better interacting with all the different situations, interacting with, for example, radio technologies, not only the mobile, but also specific, for example, Wi-Fi 6, which is, Wi-Fi is traditionally the solution for the final deployment in the user premises. And it will be, it has been since the beginning considered as one of the natural complementary technologies that we have to work with. But for example, of course, we have to work on security, reliability, and increase the capacities, the capabilities of the network in many regards. So, for example, going more into details with the architecture and allowing for specific use cases to be supported by that. It is a fundamental way of evolution. So we can call it advanced because it adds on top of the other first release and the initial ground level we have defined for F5G with our first release of specifications. Of course, it will be a continuous of evolution. There will be not an abrupt jump from one to the other. It will be building on top. And we started the work. We are identifying for example, new directions in which we want to by which we want to characterize what our specification deliver. We started with three-dimensional system, if you want, where we had enhanced broadband on one axis. We had main characteristics on the three axes, and we are expecting to be able to add other three axes to the picture to show the evolution in new directions. And this is work in progress, let's say. We started that, addressing it in a white paper that will be made public about June, something like that. Let's say will be an official declaration of intents about what we want to do in this new mandate of 2 years that we have started now. Besides, let's say, progressing in a very linear way from release one towards the following releases.
Okay, and the broad scope of work that you've mentioned, and there's a lot of work that you're doing. You mentioned quality of experience is vital for consumers and customers and business enterprises. But maybe more broadly, can you just explain how does F5G bring value to telcos?
But I believe it is rather evident already from some words that I said before, some parts of what I said, like the fact that networks need to grow in not only, for example, with the jump that has been done with the 5th generation in the mobile networks, but there is something that needs to be able to back it up with fixed services. We have plenty of the wonderful technology that is delivered by mobile 5th generation needs absolutely to be supported by an evolution also in the fixed networks. And that's what we want to do, trying to, on one hand, to support the mobile. So the interest for operators is bidirectional. One is to be able to support the mobile evolution. And so mobile operators will need to have either to have a fixed network that supports what the mobile can do, or to be partnering with some network provider that has the fixed network. And whatever the configuration is, the fixed network has to provide the solutions itself, but it also has to complement in the services to the end user what mobile can do. And there are specific use cases that are very, very typical for and have the best solution with and most economical solution with fixed network deployment, where some characteristics are improved and enhanced with respect to what we have nowadays, let's say, in the 4th generation of fixed networks. Even if it is not so usual to speak of generation for the past evolution of the technology, one of the first works of F5G, ISG F5G, was to identify the characteristics that can that allow to identify generations as well in as for mobile, also for fixed networks. Reaching and better serving the end users is the second big target of F5G, and the interest for operators is obviously there. Solving a lot of problems that continuous evolution anyway raises, and we need to find solutions and to have a standard and let's say holistically defined solution is the best, instead of having a progress that is done with scattered efforts that many times bring to incoherent solutions that then need some extra effort to make them work together to reach a complete view. And doing it from the beginning should save time and allow for an easier deployment and better services to the end users.
Okay, and going forward, what key messages would you like to convey to industry? You've covered a lot of ground, but is there anything else that you just like to stress as industry moves forward?
Well, one specific message would be to not just to look at what we are doing and what it comes from F5G, but come and discuss with us, bring your own news, contribute. And we all believe in F5G that even criticism, even participation saying, "No, but what are you doing there? Why do you want to do that?" That is absolutely important, and it is what we need to make specifications that are really user effective, let's say, in the sense that they will bring to the users what they expect to have, and will have a more general value than specifications that are defined with a rather wide participation, in fact, as ISG F5G has at the moment. But indeed, we are happy to be able to discuss with anyone that wants to bring a contribution, even if it is starting from criticism, and that's what challenges and makes stronger what we do.
Okay, thanks, Luca. Thanks very much for that update on F5G, and your point about being open to collaboration and more participation is well noted. So thanks very much, Luca. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the chance to discuss this with you.
Thanks.